workshop for the meeting between management and our commission. We'll get right into the business of the library. That's right. Will you talk about the strategic plan, please?
Did everybody get a copy? Was this second time? No.
Did y'all get?
So we worked with Library Systems and Services headed up our strategic planning process this year. And we started in August. We had a survey, we had multiple focus groups with various community segments, and a couple of one-on-one sessions, and we talked with the friends, we talked with the library board. And this is the result that we came up with. So this is the next 4 years, 2021 to 2025. I'll make sure that you get a copy of this.
I don't think any of us did.
What's that?
I didn't get one either.
Was Christy supposed to give it?
Yeah.
Because she was supposed to be here, but she's not here today.
Oh, no, so nobody got it? I'm so sorry, I only brought one copy for myself, but,
It's okay. We can get a copy later.
what's that?
We can get a copy
I
later.
can get email.
Okay,
Christie's-
I will
Christie's
get a
out
copy
today.
to you afterwards. But we came up with our 4 main strategic goals are connect, communicate, enhance, and educate. And then we have a breakdown of how we intend to implement those goals in it. And there's also an appendix of what we learned through our survey, what we learned through our focus groups, a little bit of a community breakdown, who uses the library, who doesn't. And so just a rough overview, we're going to focus quite a bit on marketing. One of the main things we learned was that, you know, we can have all sorts of wonderful things in the library, but if nobody knows about it, then they don't get used. So we're going to have a very strong push for marketing through the next 4 years to improve that, to increase our programming and our outreach to the community, especially when it comes to children and education. And also we found out through the focus groups that there is a need for more senior programs, senior education. So we're going to look into a focus on that and STEM learning. So yeah, I'm sorry I didn't prepare something larger. I thought I'd be able to ask you if you had any questions after reading. But do you have any questions about that one?
No, this is the strategic plan you've already implemented. You're just giving the commission a courtesy briefing, correct?
I'm so sorry.
This is a strategic plan that you're already implementing. This is a courtesy briefing for the commission, correct?
Yeah, we are still in the previous strategic plan through the end of the year, so this would be starting in January, our next strategic plan.
Would you mind, go ahead and get some copies made and then we'll get them distributed to the board.
Yeah, I can absolutely.
Thank you so much. We've got so much going on. But other than that, Commissioner, do you have any questions I know you.
I'd just like to have an email copy versus
Yeah.
a hard copy.
Or you can
You
send
just
me an
email a
email and I
copy
can
out.
print out
Just-
myself.
Yeah, send an email.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can send out an email to everyone.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that. We had a little bit of a hiccup there. I forgot that Christie's out. Okay, ballpark lighting, Mr. Hoskins, last commission meeting brought up a concern about, is it possible to look at the dog park being lit? I think that Andrew or Eric has got some information on that. One of the things that I wanted to bring up to you guys to consider was, for a long time, we've kind of had an unwritten policy that we have not lit any of our greenways and playgrounds and parks and trails. The main reason is that we encourage them to be closed when it's dark. There's no specific time. It's just, if it's daylight, they're open. If it's dark, it's closed. And of course, we all know, like, it rotates drastically throughout the year. Like today, it'll be dark at 5:30. And then in the summertime, it won't be dark till 9:45. So we've just kind of always marched along with the premise of, it works best for us to, if it's light, it's open. If it's dark, it's closed. And if we started lighting something, my concern is, at what point would they want everything lit? And you're getting into major investments there to be able to do that. Out of the corner of my eye, I see the police chief over here doing one of these as well. I know that he prefers that the parks be closed at night from a law enforcement standpoint, police break freely. But I don't know that we want to deter from that, because so far it's kind of worked well for us. You want to add to that, Chief, if you have any?
Same, I mean, because we have had issues
at night, but, it's like everything else. People use it at their own risk anyway, so at night it's just even greater. So I think we have discussed it in previous about the cost that it would
Yeah.
just take to light.
Yeah.
And I know that,
And I think some other cities do it, but.
Yeah,
they have
so Johnny talked to me in depth about it a couple
Okay.
times, and he mentioned Chattanooga. They got the river park. They do like that. They have
Sure.
emergency call boxes along the way.
Yes.
We don't even have that. So
No,
we years ago discussed that we might have to have emergency call boxes. And then how do you monitor that so people don't pull pranks all the time? Then you got
That's
to have
right.
cameras to monitor it. The cost just continues to grow. And I agree with the city manager and the people he talked to. Probably right now, status quo is probably the best way to go. Leave it as is, sun up to sundown.
It's
Parks.
working.
Yeah.
But with that said, that sounds terrible for what you guys have, but you guys did do some research. So Erica and whoever's presenting, would you give us some figures that you did get together? We appreciate you doing that. So what are your findings?
So I looked into it, Chattanooga's public dog parks, they're all dawn to dusk as well as Cleveland's, Tinsley Park Dog Park. From what I could find online, that it is not lit, it is dusk, dawn to dusk. Red Bank, as well as Hickson's dog parks, are all dawn to dusk.
So we're all consistent in doing that.
Correct, yeah, we're consistent, and I believe Andrew, you reached out to some dog collection companies, ATV.
Correct. I contacted APB, and because it's commercial related, we would have to supply service wire from the meter. We'd have to have a meter, a disconnect, and some kind of timer probably, or a light sensor, so that would go off at dark, or turn on at dark. And to have that wire run and everything, total projected cost of doing like a festoon lighting over at the Commons, like they have those strings of lights, we're looking at like just shy of 16 grand. But it's still cheaper than pedestrian light poles, would be about 5,000 labor materials each, would be about 50 grand effectively to light that park.
And we don't even light the commons at night, so it's consistent.
Those lights are strung up outside in the open market area, but other than that, the commons are not lit.
The only thing that's lit is our pickleball courts, and those are still on a timer for people who play at night.
Right.
And as Eric reached out today as well, the only thing we have lit is a recreational area, and that's the pickleball courts. Our playgrounds, like you said, are closed. No one needs to be on a playground at dark anyways. It's not safe. The greenways, our greenways run through our land and our wildlife resources. Anytime we put lights or anything, or you got people coming through, we are really messing with the wildlife's habitat, as well as their sleeping and their hunting, especially with Addison Pike being expanded right now. We've got a lot of animals that have been displaced. Nighttime is really their time. That's their environment as well. So light pollution, noise pollution, all that is a different type of pollution than it is pollution. So since I've been here, when I first started, we had people question lights on the greenway. I haven't had anybody ask about 2 years, because once I explained about noise pollution and light pollution and our wildlife, people understood why we don't like it.
So from a money standpoint, but certainly, but I think from an operational standpoint, it seems to be working best for us on all of our parks and greenways and stuff to maintain the dusk to dawn concept, if you are in agreement. I think that gives us the most bang for our buck. Pardon this phrase, but it kind of self-polices, because most people understand that if it's dark, it's closed. And if it's sunlight, it's open. And that's easy to explain, and it's relatively better to enforce. What are your thoughts, Mayor?
I was just going to ask, how frequently is the dog park used? Is it used a lot?
It's very weather dependent. I go there, actually took my little dog there yesterday, Saturday. And we were there for probably 2 minutes, and then someone showed up. They were there the whole time we were there, and then about 30 minutes later we left. If it's a really nice warm day, you might see 5 or 6 different people in there. You know, I drive by a couple times during the day, and there's no one in there, really, it just depends.
I think for the amount of money that Andrew quoted and the amount of people that would use it at night in the dark, you know, even, you know, being cold outside, you know, I don't know, I would say on average we have 3 dogs. You know, there are times, like Eric said, that there might be some more. There's people that will come and they congregate, they'll start making friends, and they'll come and they'll congregate together. But for the most part, it's a light use area as opposed to a heavy use area.
Is the dog park over in Appleton lit up?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I don't think there's as nice as ours. is it? Unless they've upgraded it.
So are you comfortable with that, Mayor? that we
I
continue
am.
our-
I don't see the point in putting that much money into it for 2 or 3 dogs once or twice a week.
Mr. Baker, your thoughts?
I'm fine with it.
Okay, well, Vice Mayor Johnson's already spoke on it, so we'll, if it's okay with you guys, we'll just continue our current policy. I think it works best for us relative to all of our parks, and we'll go from there. So, well, thank you for that discussion. The next thing is Vice Mayor Johnson and I have been working on putting in a formal telecommuting policy. We do not have any positions in city government that we allow someone to work permanently, remotely from home. But as we know, due to COVID and other areas, that's ramped up a little bit from time to time. Our definition of working remotely is you're not physically in your office. Understand that from time to time, we have people either at conferences or actually sometimes in this very building that are working in a conference room, not in their office on a project or something along those lines. Plus, they may be at home or at another facility working. So our telecommuting policy is not just you're on a trip or working at home, it's you're working remotely from your office somewhere. So we do allow that from time to time with different folks according to what their job description is. It's difficult to say this department can't, this department can. So the way we have this written is it is truly a case-by-case scenario to where if someone needs to work remotely, we look at the job, we look at the qualifications and the dependability, I think is what the policy said of the person. And then we make the determination is that person available to work remotely or not? Clearly, there are many positions that's not even an option. There are some positions there, although that are options. So we take it on a case-by-case basis. But Vice Mayor Johnson did suggest that we implement a policy, and he give us an example. We've tweaked it up, and we think it's a good thing. So that's the policy you have in front of us. It's probably, this is the discussion phase of it. If you had any concerns to
We don't,
bring
we
it up.
don't, we didn't get it.
We don't have it.
Probably.
I'm sorry about that. I thought you got it.
No, you can email it.
We don't need you to vote on it today because it's not a voting meeting. So here's what we'll do. Christie's out.
This is a test.
We're a little bit.
We're a little bit discombobulated today. We
Yeah.
thought you had that.
Now
So-
you know how important Christie is.
Yes, well, she
Yeah,
runs-
oh,
she
I know
runs the
right
front.
in 5 minutes.
As the city recorder, she does get that stuff out to the commission, so we understand. So we'll get that to you. Sorry. We'll ask you to look at it and then vote on that in 2 weeks. November 30th is an off week. So in a couple of weeks, you'll have plenty of time to review it. And then we'll ask you to vote on that at the December 7 meeting. Don't forget the tractor swing is going to be held December 6th. Is it 5 or 5:30 in the afternoon over here? Our first annual tractor swing. We're pretty excited about that. Things are starting to come together for that. Tracy, do you have anything you'd like to brief or add to on that?
No, Christina's got a lot of games. She's been working on it. Her family's actually kind of gotten behind her and made games, so we'll have some for this year. But yeah, we've reached out to Tractor. I sent something out to Ag Pro today as well. Bill and I went out past Cleveland this week, and I saw that they had a bunch of tractors out front. So I just sent information to them this morning, said invite your friends and family. So we'll see.
Good.
We'll see how many we get. Santa's ready to go. Sent me pictures today of him and his
I did have one thing I wanted to bring up to you for discussion phase. If you had any questions, I'll ask you to vote on December 7 as well. If you remember, it's been just a few years back, we put in a medical policy for retirees, and we limit that to age 55 to age 65. Well, at the time when we were looking at putting this in, Director Keaton, Rodney Keaton, our public works director, came to me and he said, I have my time in and I want to retire. And I said, well, we're putting in before the commission a policy to allow retiree health benefits. I said, but you got to be 55 years old. And he said, well, I think he was 52 at the time or 53. And so during those discussions, and we had those, if you do recall, among the many, many things that you do, we agreed to let Rodney and his spouse go on the plan, but they had to come off at age 65. The reason we did that is because he had his 30 plus years in TCRS, wanted to retire, and we made an exception for him to be able to go ahead and retire. But I did tell him, I said, if you don't retire now, you're going to have to wait until you turn 55, which will be about another 2 or 3 years. He chose to go ahead and retire and be covered by our plan. In the documentation, it says you must be 55 to 60 to 65, but it also says the maximum you can be on the plan is 10 years. So what that's created is a little bit of a confusion to where if Rodney went on the plan at 52 or 53, he has to come off at 62 or 63. Well, the intent period is to allow somebody to be on the plan until they're eligible for Medicare. So if you don't have a problem with it, I'm going to ask you next week just to simply vote on a simple statement that says Rodney and his wife, per our previous agreement, can be on the plan to age 65. Because it's a little bit of a technical loophole there. Is there any questions or discussion on that?
No.
All I'll do is say, ask the commission to make a motion, second, and a majority vote approved for Rodney and his wife to be on the plan till age 65. That's all we need. That documents it for the health providers, it documents it for insurance, et cetera. And so I wanted to have that discussion in a workshop to see if you had any questions or needed clarification on that. I know that was recently, you probably remember that, but we do need to go ahead and do that. This affects only them. It does not affect anybody else. Everybody else knows that you have to be 55 minimum and come off the plan at 65, and maximum of 10 years. That's common knowledge.
Do we have anyone else that is in that situation that may come up in a few
Right.
years that would need to retire earlier than 55?
No, not that I know of. And if they do, they know at the plan they can't do it until 55. The only reason this affects Rodney is as we were implementing the post-medical retirement benefit, he was the only one that was ready to retire. He had his time in, he wanted to retire, and said, if you're going to put that in, can you cover me? Because I want to do that. I think he was taking another job, et cetera, whatever. And so he's the only one that fits in that category. So we'll bring that up in a couple of weeks and we'll go from there. So thank you for that. Let's go around now to reports from our key managers. Andrew, do you have any report for the commission? Okay. Eric, do you have anything?
Just one thing I want to touch on there, Lynn had sent me an email about a question about Tucker Road. And I went out there we've been keeping an eye on it. There's a couple areas where it's breaking up a little bit. Over the weekend, one area got worse. And so I talked with Wright Brothers this morning. They're going to evaluate it tomorrow to see if that's something they can help us out with fixing. If they don't, then it'll be up to us to go ahead and repair the road. It's partially affected by the construction project, but it's not within the limits of the construction project. But I'm just going to give you a heads up that may come down the pipe.
Hey, can I make a comment?
Yes, sir.
So I've gotten 4 emails on Tucker Road. And this guy I happen to know, Luke Clark, and he sends me pictures of the trucks. He's saying there's probably a truck every 5 minutes going up and down Tucker Road. And he videotaped it, and then I drove it, and I passed 2 trucks. It's interesting that TDOT would not fix the road because of all this heaviness that's coming in and out. I really think we need to push TDOT for that.
Okay.
You can send me a picture of those trucks, that'd be great, because I talked with him a little bit about how they're strategically moving their materials and everything.
Yep.
And he couldn't say definitively that. basically, they're not moving heavy materials that direction on that road. It's inbound, that's actually falling apart.
Well, this is coming from Homewood up to the construction site.
Right.
Huh.
Yeah, if you can send me those videos, that'd be great.
That'd be helpful, huh?
Yeah, Mr. Clark told me, I sent him an email today that you were watching those spots. And he said he'd sent the pictures to
He
you.
did.
So we need to keep on top of that for the, I
Right.
agree with Tim. We need to push TDOT to pay for that.
Okay, thanks for Tim for getting those
Yep.
pictures to Eric. Anything else, Eric? Tracy? Michelle? Finance or city recorder wise? Natalie, do you have anything else for the library? Okay, Bridget, do you have anything from our communications consultant mindset?
No, other than, Steve Fairland was on the call with us. We did have our annual meeting, with our legislative delegation of Hamilton County last Tuesday. We held it via Zoom, and about the only really big thing I think that came out of it was that the CARES Act, that the state delegated out to the cities, a lot of the cities didn't have enough expenses to justify the time to try to submit for that money. So what monies are left is going back to the state, and Senator Watson said that he expects there to be more money available. However, the deadline to use it is going to be December 31st for COVID expenses. They are trying to get an extension on that, and he's going to keep us posted. So there may be some additional opportunities to get money back on any additional expenses. We have.
Excellent. We'll put in for anything and everything.
Yeah, we originally, got 172,000 and change, and we've received all that back. So I've,
Every dime.
sent in all of our expenses.
The Durango that you voted on last week was shipped to our upfitters. They won't be able to get it in for a couple of weeks, mainly due to some COVID and other projects in front of us. So we're hopeful that in 3 weeks it will be here. We'll see. That's all I have.
Okay, Commissioner Baker.
No, I just need to ask Eric something. Eric, if you can just update me a little bit. Remember the light post I mentioned off of Hyde Street?
Yes.
Did they ever come out and check that? I think it might have been just a timer or something. One of my neighbors was asking me. It's just,
Yeah, I emailed EPD about that, gave them the location, everything. They said they were gonna get it taken care of. Is it still going on?
I think possibly it might be, but it could be they were looking at it at a different time.
Okay.
It doesn't bother me, but where it's located, the people right around there's a lot of senior citizens. And they've gotten used to having that light and coming on at the correct time. But I'll check with them.
Reach back out to our rep to make sure that work order was finished up.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Not that I'm not a senior citizen.
Vice Mayor?
Tucker Road was the only thing that came to my mind because of all the emails I got.
Okay, great. And we're getting some pictures to him so we can get on top of that.
Yeah, I just sent them.
Okay, very good. Mayor?
I'm just curious, there's some small blue signs down on on the Appleton Pike in front of some property. It says public notice on them. Is that something that your department put up?
For TDOT, the road widening project.
No, it's on the part that's already,
That's for our First Main project. I think they've got some permitting with DDEC out there. So they have to put a notice out there for permitting because there's a stream there close to where the First Main tied in.
oh, okay. The writing is so small you can't read it unless you're going
The
to,
other day when I drove by, I had to think about it for a couple seconds to figure out what it was. And that, where they are is exactly where we're gonna be timing, so it must be
okay.
part of that project.
Yeah, Wayne just texted me. I guess he's watching online or somewhere. Squirrel.
Mhm.
He said it's sewer related.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the only question I had. I do have a survey here and I'm wondering if it's one that I need to send to Michelle. She gets a lot of my survey thing. It's from TML. They're doing the role of the public libraries in smart city community development. So I thought maybe between you and the library,
yeah.
maybe you could
We
fill
might have
that
to work
out.
together, but that's fine.
I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. It has some budget items in there, so
Okay.
I thought you could do that easier than me.
Oh, and we had the luncheon tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I was telling somebody, I can't remember, maybe it's HR, that my youngest one is wanting me to take her hunting so she can show me up again.
Congratulations.
So I may not be there.
Yeah.
I went this morning and didn't see anything, but the guy next to me shot an 8-point.
Wow.
That's the way my luck has been going with deer
There you go.
hunting. So anyway, the challenge is on. So
Right.
if I don't make it back in time,
Right.
that's why.
So the vice mayor is correct. Tomorrow is our holiday dinner. It starts at noon. We will have, as best we can, socially distanced seating. We will also allow those that want to come in and get their food to go. We'll have a to-go box. We'll, fix it up for them and let them go somewhere else if they choose to do that. Hopefully we'll get it off without a hitch because Michelle and Brittany and everybody else
There
is
may be a hitch. 'cause
working
Chris
hard
is
on
not
it
here,
because,
but-
Christy kind of runs the fort on that too, and she's out this week with some concerns. And so, we should go off without a hitch tomorrow, et cetera. Our next meeting is, December 7th, which is Monday, commission meeting. Next week is an off week. I'm going to try to go see Caleb and, be with him for Thanksgiving up in Virginia Beach where he's stationed. Because he can't come home for Thanksgiving, so say hi to him. You know how it is with military families, without a doubt.
Mhm.
And so we'll try to do that. Other than that, is there anything else that I forgot to overlook
There-
anybody?
I forgot to mention that December 9, there's going to be a TML District 3 meeting.
Yes.
And it'll be Zoom. So when I get the information about it, the Zoom, I'll send it out to all the commissioners and those of you that want to Zoom in on it.
And
There'll be-
remember that Mayor Lamb is our District 3 representative for TML, so congratulations.
Yeah, I signed up for that.
Continued on
Yeah.
that for Mayor Lamb.
Okay. What time of day during the days that you want to be?
It is going to be
I think it's 10.
10
in the morning?
o'clock, from 10 to 12.
Do we know the day, not the date? but the
December
day?
9 is Wednesday.
Yeah, I can finish that one.
Yeah.
I won't have kids that day,
Excellent.
so I can do it from my office.
Okay, did we miss anything? Did we forget anybody? Anything else for the daily order? Okay, thank you very much. Have a good day.